Me and my game night got a little bit closer to each other as we told stories. We played stories too. It's the name of the game as well. But you tell stories. Let's talk about it.
YouTube, welcome back for another Thoughts from the Corner. Today we're talking about stories.
A special Kickstarter Thoughts from the Corner. Here with my good friend Adam from Game Night. And today we're checking out Stories, which is currently on Kickstarter right now. You can also check out the website down below. But this is for 2+ players, take about 30 to 45 minutes for ages 10+. And Stories is a game, and I use that word lightly, in which you are going to be really just pulling out tiny little strands of your soul and just sharing it with everyone else at the table. Very simple game. You're going to have 5 cards in your hand. You'll draw a turn. You'll draw a card on your turn, and then you're going to hand a card to someone else and read it out loud. And that card is normally going to have a pretty deep, insightful question, and you're going to learn about people at the table. They're going to answer the question, and then they'll give you a card, and they'll ask you a question, and you'll answer it, and then you'll both take your cards and put them face down, and if you get to a certain number of specific colored cards, you can do like I think it's 7 of all the different ones, or 3 of 3 of different ways.
Different varieties.
The game here is loose. This is definitely more of a sit around kind of chit chat, get to know people, and we played this tonight,
and
we got to know people.
I thoroughly enjoyed that because a lot of times we come here and play games, and it's like there's people that you don't know anything about them.
Jimmy.
And yeah, like
Jimmy's
I
awesome.
wish we played this with Jimmy. I would love to know more about his life, but you don't get that opportunity when you're just playing games. I mean, you get chit chat. Oh, hey, what do you do? Kind of stuff. But yeah, this was the prompts were great. Like, share a story about your teenage ambitions. Like, it's like specific enough that you'll think of it one specific thing, but it's vague enough that you have a variety of ways you could take it. I mean, that's just I really enjoyed the way that it did that.
Slap a caveat on this real quick. I want to slap a huge caveat on that. Where'd we meet, Adam? We met at a place called Aaron's House for Grieving Children, which is all about where you open up and tell stories and share emotions. And I thought this would be good for you and me.
This is right up that alley.
That is right up both of our alleys. You need to know going into this. And that's why I'm trying to stress here, the game takes a back seat to the communicating with other people and telling stories. But yeah, back to what you want to say. I just want to put that right out the front.
I agree. It's not like we're playing a game thing. It's like this is an icebreaker. We're getting to know each other kind of thing. It was perfect to be like, Josiah's going to be 10 minutes late. Like, let's whip this out and we can talk to each other.
I have spent probably hundreds of hours with you, and I learned new things about you just in that. Likewise with Alan. He's the godfather of my son. I learned some not suitable for work things, but it was hilarious. It was great. And it's going to be a joke that we will come back to at some point. I know that joke is coming up about him having some fun in Chinatown in San Francisco at one point.
Well, and it's fun too because some of them, it can be kind of jokey with it, and other things you're going to get a little bit more serious, and you can take it however you want to take it, and I enjoy that. I also love that there's a little quote on each card.
Yes,
and that could be a prompt for you.
I do have to. I'm a music buff. I'm a big music aficionado, and there's one card in here that has a typo, and it's a glaring, just drives me nuts. It says there's a song, "If You Get Lost Between the Road and New York City," and that's the name of the song. It's by Christopher Cross. It's a beautiful song, and they misquoted the song on there. At least I think they did. I'm gonna go and check it, but that all things aside. And the price, I feel like I'm trying to sell it to you right now. It is dirt cheap. It's $5 for a game. You get 2 for $5. And I really think if you're looking as something to potentially just get to know
people, yeah.
I think if you had, I'm trying to think of the best scenarios for this. You mentioned it if you want.
Yeah, and you could do it at a work function or something.
That's where I was going.
Where you're gonna, hey, we need to get to know this group that you're gonna be with for the day. Like, learn 3 facts about somebody. You can use these cards any way you want. It doesn't have to be part of this game.
And there's a whole bunch of wild cards as well, which I like because it means and there's a bunch of them where it's like share a story about blank, and you can really. You could use this to potentially. Never mind.
I also like that it's share a story, not share a fact. It's
Yes.
like, tell me, tell me a story about when you were a teen. It's not like, oh, well, when I was, like, tell me about a sports time at your team. Well, I won the national champion or something. Like, it's actually have to tell a story. Like, oh, we were, 3-1 and we came back and we got, and it would be a story, not just like I did this one thing. And a lot of times when you get stuff like this, there are prompts that it's just like, well, that's a 2-word answer.
Yes.
These are well thought out.
One thing I want to mention too, there's like a little bit extra, which I think is cool that he talks about in the Kickstarter page, which there's 7 different like parts of your entire being: your physical being, your spiritual being, your emotional being, your environmental being, and they're all in the game. And they ask very different questions. I think that's really cool. And honestly, if you're interested in this game, go check out the Kickstarter page. You are going to have to read a good deal, but it's a really fascinating story about this guy thought he was going to die. And so, like, he has, like, these very specific goals that he wants to achieve now, and publishing this game, I believe, is one of them. I didn't read all the text because there's a lot of text. But it was a really fascinating story that you should have made a video about. But that is stories from... I have it on here. I'll put that in post. Yeah, click on the link down below. Stories. If it looks like it might be your cup of tea, be sure to check that one out. I personally am going to be keeping this copy of the game and using it from time to time, because this is the kind of thing where I feel like the situation is not going to rise that much, but when it does arise, I will know exactly to grab this game. But there you go. It looks like it might be your cup of tea. Check out the Kickstarter link down below. If you're enjoying what we're doing, please click on that subscribe button down below. And in the comments below, let me know. Let's get a good one. Find a good one. You grab 2, I grab 2, and we'll decide which one's the best. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think it's a good one. We'll see who's better. I like this one. Share a story about someone you've lost touch with. Because that's like so good, because you're going to say it, and then you're going to think about that person and be like, why did I lose touch with them? Because I let it happen a lot of the time. Like,
I'm going to get a different one, because those were 2 that I had while we were playing earlier.
Okay. Well, I'm going to answer this one. You answer yours, I'll answer mine. Share a story about someone you've lost touch with. I have lost touch with my friend Eric because of coronavirus, but also because I'm like a really toxic video game player. I'm totally toxic when it comes to playing video games. It's terrible. I really should quit playing video games just entirely. I take it entirely too serious, and I'm an incredibly negative person, and I'm going to drive away everyone I love who plays video games with me. So don't ever play video games.
Okay,
Adam.
No, won't. Mine is share a story about a memory that involves the weather. And mine is about 10 years ago, a friend and I, we rode our bikes out to Mount Rushmore. And there was a time we would just like stop in the city and like stay in a park and stuff. We're staying in this park, and you could see, it was in Iowa, and you could see this storm like coming for like a good like 3 hours. Like it was just like on its way, and it was just this huge black wall of clouds. And it got dark out, and we're out in this pavilion, and the wind just starts whipping, and it's like we're under the pavilion, so we're like, oh, we're gonna be dry. Well, no, it was going so, like, the wind was blowing so hard that it was pulling water up off of the like pond that was next to it and blowing it into where we were, and like on our face. And we had talked to the sheriff like earlier in the day, so he knew it was there, and he came there and was like, I want to make sure you guys are okay. He's like, get in the car, and he drove us over to this to a car wash where we like we're in this like bunker, like, because they get lots of tornadoes there. And it turned out that there was a tornado that night, and as we were riding out of the city, there was like all this crazy damage everywhere, and we had no idea that this whole thing was happening before it happened. It was insane.
And I want to go back. We're skipping. We're back to the review. I want to go. That's one thing that we didn't really want to mention. Everyone likes to talk about themselves, even if they don't admit they like to talk about themselves. I feel like everyone wants to secretly like talk about themselves.
Oh, yeah,
but you
sure.
feel like a d-bag sometimes doing it, and this brings that out because everybody's got stories. Everybody's got interesting and fascinating stories. If you want to get to know your loved ones and people close to you, and people maybe not even that close to you that you want to get closer to you, I feel like stories is a great way to do it. I really like this game.
Yeah, that's
talk
fun.
about it. But let me know in the comments below either of those questions down below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.